I have touched on the subject of letting go and accept everything as it is at the state of absolute being, and that corresponds to the point that I kind of shared in the meditation video, but I thought it may be good to delve into it. The point of discussion is dying before we die. Dying ourselves to open up our eyes and to connect to the absolute state of being, connecting to your heart and accepting everything as it is, and then you find that, as in the case of samadhi, no mind, no self, no ego, and you find yourself in the heaven, nirvana, the Garden of Eden. So Shido Bunan says, as we live, be like a dead man, totally dead, and live as we wish, and it will be good. And there was a Rumi pointing the same. Let's see if I can find it. He basically said the same thing. Die before you die. Even as I have died before death and brought this reminder from beyond, and he's talking about the resurrection, and I may post what the Rumi said in his poem in description. Also a couple points since I'm on to Rumi. From Wikipedia I found those two. One says, why should I seek? I am the same as he. His essence speaks through me. I have been looking for myself. That's a paradoxical statement. And me looking for myself, it's just like Eckhart Tolle is talking that I can't stand myself. Two me's, duality of me's. But that's to find the real me, or true self, or the heart, whatever the term is, which cannot be comprehended in words unless the experience is there. And for that reason, Shido Bunan's point of we have to die, total death. Lastly, before I move on to other discussion to follow, here's another one. Maybe I'll share this book from the Rumi. This is about his place of burial, tombstone. Epitaph reads, when we are dead, seek not our tomb in the earth, but find it in the hearts of men. Heart. So listen to your heart. We all have it. What do I say? My eternal home. We have the same. And the home is the way of nature to bring us on this earth and to be alive and connect to heart, since our mind get diluted. So you have to die our ego. So the Shido Bunan, Rumi, and many others say the same thing. And I have posted various videos on that. But this one was triggered by Okamura-san, Mihoko Okamura, who used to be the secretary of Daisetsu for his last 15 years. And I met him and talked with her many times, and we have such a wonderful time. And she was pointing that why death of self is important. Because that a very strong expression to push people to die, the self. But it is to that degree that you have to get to kill yourself, which is like pulling your teeth by yourself. That's someone, I think American Zen monk Martin Hughes said to me. So you to yourself and killing with mind is not possible, and that's what I said about the Myokonin lady Fuji, to transform. And the transformation happened by the other power. This is the case for Shinbuism. So Namo Amida Butsu and Amida Buddha to help. So that our typical way of consciousness, or what's the term, the way we use our mind to distinguish A to B in a dualistic way, is the reason why we developed our ego, me and you, and me and another me, and play with the logic. And there's such a strong pull to use it because that's how we learn to use the language to live, to differentiate good and bad, and you and me, right and wrong, and all of that. But to kill that, it's not easy. It's the karma, or the habitual pattern we develop. And those who go through that has good reasons, and I mentioned that elsewhere, that like a Buddha's case, he lost his mother early in his age, and many people, Daisetsu, Shinran, Dogen, and others, had a sad experience early in their life. So they retain that problem consciousness to resolve. And at the end, they have to go through this path to kill themselves. If that's not the right word, put themselves into samadhi, there's nothing you can think about. So no thinking and no self. So let me say this, that actually, to be somewhat pragmatic, you don't have to kill your ego. If possible, it is much better. But I think I've seen many people who may not have such experience, but have the access to the source of wisdom. It's not to that core level, but close to, like Einstein I mentioned, come up with an invention. So this is like solving the koan. That's Zen puzzle to resolve. And for that, you need to be awakened. So that's one of the practice for Zen monks to do. Or just like a vipassana and sit, and like my case, I had the koan, but also vipassana. And vipassana is similar to Soto Zen. So I'm Dogen, very familiar with it. So they are very different avenues, but like the case of Rumi or Myokonin Fuji, there's a moment of transcending the typical way of using a mind, because you cannot resolve the hardest thick wall that you're seeking to break it, but more you seek for it, you tighten up your rope. That's what I said about my experience. But when I realized that maybe I'm trying to get out of the pain, that's causing the pain, that actually is the same as like Rumi talking about why should I seek? And the resurrection, awakening and resurrection, coming back to be able to use our mind become possible once you pass through, they call it the gateless gate. That's a Zen expression, that the gate is not there in our mind. That's why it says gateless gate, if the mind is connected to heart. But if the mind is egocentric and see the world and seeking for things to achieve something, you don't have that option to free your mind, and you're caught up. And with using that mind, you cannot get out of the bounded state. So Mihoko-san was saying that it's sort of understandable that we all have that, and nobody wants to go through the painful experience to hit your head over and over. But those masters have gone through it, and on my part, I did my part too, which I explained in the note about my experience of awakening. So if we let go of this mind that is seeking, trying to obtain or achieve something, and if you let go, that's the point. You have your hands in the bottle, that's one of the expressions, and you're holding something in the bottle and trying to pull your hand out of the bottle. You can't, because you're holding something. That's the ego pushing that this is, say, diamond on the gold that I cannot leave, and this is my fame and wealth that depends on what I do. And so far as we have that bounded state, is when this bottle is there and your fist is preventing you from you to be enlightened. So you have to let go and then pull your hand out. Then you have everything. That's what this is about. So let me just add a few sentences about my experience, because I had that bounded condition, but I didn't have at my early age. So maybe my awakening is not deep enough, but I take it. And I can understand conceptually, but experientially, what this word of dying self and resurrect, whether it's Christianity or Shin Buddhism or Sufi, in the case of Rumi, I believe, has the same human nature there. So my moment was when I was 52 years old. But anyone, because we have the same construct of being a human, have this mind and our heart, which is there from the beginning, our eternal home, where we came out of. The laws of nature put us here as a miracle, and it's still there. And that's the point. And maybe we'll just revisit what Rumi said in his epitaph. Says that when we are dead, seek not our tomb in the earth. That's your conceptual hang-up. So he says, don't seek, but find it in the heart of man. We all have it.